Hi everybody, welcome back to Awesome Crafter. I'm Lisa and today I'm going to be sharing with you exactly how I made these faux leather little keyrings. The items that we're going to need to make this are heat transfer vinyl, which I've already placed on my standard grip mat shiny side down. I've got some faux leather which I've already prepared on my strong grip mat, and I've just held it down with some frog tape so it doesn't move whilst we're cutting it. We've got some little lobster clasps that we're going to use. I've got a weeding tool. I've used my brayer to secure my fabric and my vinyl. I've got some high-tech fabric glue, my Cricut maker, I've got my little heat press mini, I've got my heat press mat, and I've also got a Teflon sheet which I'm going to be using. Now we're over in design space. I'm going to show you exactly how I made the keyring and how I designed it. So first of all, we need to go into text and we're going to type in the name. So for this keyring, I'm going to use the name Max, and I'm going to change the size of it because I want the width to be around 3 inches. So it gives us quite a good size keyring. And the font I'm going to use for this is Chocolate Banana. So I'm just going to click on System and I'm going to search the font name that I want to use. You can choose any font of your liking. I'm just choosing this one because I think it's quite funky. And I purchased this from Design Bundles. Now we've got a name, and obviously it's made it a little bit bigger. So I'm going to click on the size box up here where it says the width, and I'm just going to reduce that back down to 3 inches like that. I'm going to move it across there so we can see what happens next. I want to keep the name Max, but I now need to make an offset because I'm going to cut out the word Max in vinyl and I want the faux leather to be slightly bigger. So now we've done that, we can see from the blue line here that it's put the offset around the name. And to be fair, I think that looks fine. So I'm just going to click apply, and there we can see that's how it's done the offset. So what I need to do now is I'm going to remove the word Max, and now I'm going to duplicate that because I need the keyring to have a back and a front. And then I'm going to flip that horizontally. So there we can see that's what it looks like now. And then just to make sure that they're lined up, I'm going to click over both of those and I'm going to click on align, and I'm going to align to the top, and that's just slightly nudge that one up a little bit. To make the joining part of the keyring, I'm going to head over to shape and I'm going to select a rectangle, and then I'm just going to shrink that down. Don't want it to be super big because all it's got to do is fold in half and hold the clasp. So probably about 1/2 inch will be fine. We'll try that. Then I'm going to move that across and I'm just going to place it in the centre of my 2 offset pieces, and then we might just have to slightly move them a little bit closer together just to make sure that the rectangle is overlapping them both, and we can just have a little play around with it until we're happy. We just don't want these 2 offset pieces join, that's the only thing. Okay, now we're happy with that. If I was to just attach that now, then when I sent it over to be made, the Cricut would cut out that little rectangle separate, and I don't want that to be happen. I want it to cut all of this out as one solid piece. So we're just going to select it all and we're going to click on weld. And that now is going to cut all of that out as one single piece and not cut out the rectangle separate, which is what we want. For the name Max, just so it cuts out on a separate mat, I'm going to click on that and I'm just going to change the colour, and I'm just going to choose red for the purpose of this, just to make sure that when we send it over to make, it will be cut out on 2 separate mats. That's that part done. So what we need to do now is click on make it and we'll send it over. So for now we need to select on mat and continue, and the first piece it's going to cut out for us is the faux leather. We just need to click on continue. Now we have the option to set our material, so I'm going to go to browse all material, and in the search all material box I'm just going to put in faux leather and search, and there we have it, faux leather paper thin. I'm going to select that one and click done, and now we can see it here. And I'm going to select the pressure to be more, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to send this to cut twice when I pop it in the maker. Now we're going to load the strong grip mat into the Cricut and start it cutting. That has now been cut out once, and the flashing arrow button is asking me to unload the mat. However, to cut it again, we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to press the Cricut button and it will just cut it again. The most important point here is not to unload the mat, just leave it where it is and just continue it cutting straight away. Now that has finished cutting for the second time, we're just going to press the flashing arrow button, and that's going to eject our mat. And now we're going to remove the faux leather, and as you can see, because I've sent it through twice, it literally just peels out, and that's exactly how we wanted it to be. So we're going to set that mat aside now, and now we're ready for our heat transfer vinyl. We're going to pop that one in and load it. Then we're going to head back over and change the material for this mat. So for this, I'm going to use premium vinyl. Again, I'm going to set the pressure to be more, but because this is heat transfer vinyl, I need to mirror the name. So I'm going to click on the mirror button down there. And as we can see now, it has just flipped the name around, and we're going to click done. And there we can see now it says mirror on. We've selected premium vinyl and the pressure is more. We are now ready to press the flashing Cricut button, and that will start cutting for us. Now that's finished, we're just going to press the flashing arrow button and unload our mat. And to remove the vinyl from here, we're just going to flip over the mat, and we're going to remove the vinyl from the mat to try and prevent the vinyl curling over. And now we're going to take some scissors, and I'm just going to trim around the name to save weeding time. And now we're going to weed out the name, and while I do that, I'm just going to turn on my little heat press to be warming up. So now we're going to just quickly weed this. Now that's weeded, what we're ready to do is we're ready to take our faux leather, and we're just going to place the name onto the faux leather where we think it needs to be. And when we're happy, we're just going to head over and heat press that. So we're going to pop it on this mat. I was just going to stick my Teflon sheet over, and then we're just going to use the little heat press mini and just rub that on. I'm going to do that for about 30 seconds, keeping it moving to make sure we cover all of the name. When that's done, we just need to peel off the carrier sheet, and there we have Max on the front there. So we're just going to leave that there to cool down. For the next part, what we need to do is we need to take our lobster clasp, and we're just going to fold that part in half, and we're going to slide the lobster clasp through, and then we're going to make sure that our design is going to line up, and that's why we flipped it, and we flipped it horizontally, so it's going to give us a front and a back, which is exactly what we wanted. And now all we're going to do is we're going to use our high-tech fabric glue, and we're going to glue around the inside, and we're just going to stick both of the sides together. We want to try and get it as close to the edge as possible to make sure it all sticks at the edge, and we don't want any gaps. And then we need to make sure we've got plenty on in the middle. Finally, just to make it a little bit more even, just use my finger and just spread it out a little bit. And then now we're just going to fold it over, trying to get it as lined up as possible. When it comes to sticking it down, the edge bits aren't sticking, then you can go around the edges again and just squeeze in a little bit more glue. Then you can just wipe away any excess that comes out. When you're happy and all that's done, I like to leave that to dry for about 24 hours. And there you have a perfect little keyring with your name on that was so easy to make. This is a perfect little project if you've got scrap pieces of vinyl. Try giving it a go. Make a cute little keyring, and yeah, just have lots and lots of fun. I really hope you enjoyed this quick and easy tutorial on how I made these funky little keychains, and I will look forward to seeing you in my next video. Thanks ever so much for watching. Goodbye for now.